Welcome to the WDW Fan Zone show. This is our regular edition of the show, as last night we did our news and events edition for Disney World. And happy Cinco de Mayo, everyone. I am Stuart Sternberg. I'm here with Kurt and John Maloney. And tonight we're going to discuss something that we've never discussed before. Should Disney keep one, both, or none of their water parks? We've hardly talked about the Disney water parks on this show because nobody really goes there. No, I don't want to say that. No, they do get plenty of people going to the water parks, but is it enough to sustain one, both, or maybe they need to move on to do something else? I'll give my take on it initially, and then we'll start discussing it. Since COVID, they've had one of the water parks open at a time. Blizzard Beach was open. Refurb, then Typhoon Lagoon, back to Blizzard, back to but it's been one at a time. And is it because they're cutting back costs? Is it because attendance hasn't been enough to support both? Is it a lack of employees? Well, let's try to figure it out. I mean, Disney knows the answer to this already. Do you guys think they could survive without any water parks there?
I think they'll survive, but I like the water parks there because it's a huge people eater. So the last time we went to a water park, we took a day off. We're like, hey, let's go to the water park in the morning, and then we'll just go shopping and do something in the afternoon. That was when we would stay for an extra day and have one day in the middle to just do whatever. And quite honestly, the park was full. It was having problems with the lights.
That always happens. At certain times of year, the lights flash on and off.
There you go. So anyway, yeah, it's a people eater. It was pretty busy. We got to do a lot of what we wanted to do, but we had a lot of fun. It was a good time. I think they do need to keep them around, and yeah, it gives families something to do outside of the parks, so they don't always have to be in the park.
Right.
They can be somewhere else. So at that point, go to the water park. Let me do my attractions in the morning while you're at the water park.
I think it also caters to another crowd. Now, I kind of agree with you, but a slight disagreement, but we'll get to that later. John, what's your take on all of it?
I agree with Kurt. I think that they take people out of the other parks, and so we know that things are getting tougher in the other parks with the waits for attractions and the crowds. And they're supposedly not back to pre-2020 limit or levels within the parks, but I mean, to us, it seems like there are just more and more people there. So it definitely helps to pull people out of the parks. And I think part of the reason for that, so I think that's a good thing for us, the guest. So can you imagine if all of those guests that are in the water park are now in the theme parks?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think it's good for us, the guests. But I think part of the reason why they're there is because, like Kurt said, that it's something else to do. It's more variety. So that's why Walt Disney World has 4 theme parks.
Yep.
Partly why they have the 4 theme parks they have is because they're unique, they're different. There's variety, you have choice, and I think it's expected by the guests. They want to be able to do the 4 different theme parks. They want to be able to do the water parks, and it's not everybody. Obviously, they're not as big as the other theme parks. They don't take as many, but they certainly take, like Kurt said, they can be very busy. They have rope drop at the water parks, just like they have rope drop at the theme.
Yes, they do.
Yep, absolutely.
So they're definitely popular. I think guests expect it.
I've seen in the middle of the day where people are coming in and waiting to get a locker because they've all been taken.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The little slight disagreement I had with you, Kurt, is I think they could get away with one water park as opposed to 2, because we've seen it happen over the last couple of years when the Disney parks have been at its busiest in when I say, or at least the appearance of being at its busiest in years. So I do think they can get away with one. Will they do that? I don't know. I really believe that the reason both are not open at the same time is because of staffing shortages.
That would be my guess too.
Could be.
And that would be my best educated or non-educated guess. Do I want to see the water parks go away? No. And you know what? It's not just people that come here on vacation that take up the water parks or like to go there. Believe it or not, there are a lot of people in Florida that do not have pools in their backyard. So it's another escape for them to go to a water park. And what water parks are better than Disney's? You know.
Well, they have like an annual pass.
Yes, they
for
do.
Just the water parks.
Yep, absolutely.
Sorry, John.
Think about it.
No. Exactly. Yep.
You know, kids that live here in Florida, their parents that don't have pools, instead of spending $40,000 or more on a pool to put in their backyard, and a small one at that, you get an annual pass to go to the water parks at Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Bingo. You don't have
no
to go
maintenance.
Yep, absolutely. And, you know, John and Kurt, you were both right. You know, I think people come down here, they want to break from the parks. They're not going to play miniature golf, although they do in 90-degree heat. And the water parks are a nice cooling relief.
Yeah, they're relaxing and in different ways. And that's the reason I think Disney has two different, they used to have 3 water parks.
Yes.
Yep.
I mean, but they've got 2, but they're 2 very distinctive parks in the attractions they have. There's similarities, but unique attractions, unique theming.
Yeah. Now, I know they're not going to do this, but what I'd like to see them do is not Blizzard Beach, not Typhoon Lagoon, close them down after you open up a third, and what theme it would be, I don't know, but a third mega water park that would just blow everything out of the way and would have guests and Floridians and anybody else that maybe aren't going to the parks going there because there's so much to do and so much to see. And, you know, but that's a big expense, and we know they're not going to spend it right now.
They're not. Well,
I like it better the way it is now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the dichotomy of the 2 parks. Yeah. And you're right, the investment. So there's 2 sides to the investment. One is they've got a lot of investment in those 2 water parks right now. And the second is with them cutting back on staffing and trying to bring costs down.
Yep.
You know, that's not where they're going to put their money because it's not going to increase revenue. The challenge I think they have is Universal and Volcano Bay. Volcano Bay is a much newer water park. They've instituted some new things with technology and ways to manage wait times for the different water attractions. So the fact that it's just newer, I mean, I love the Disney water parks, but I'm sure that Universal can pull more, especially some of the younger people, with the newness of Volcano Bay.
Yeah, and you know what? I honestly don't believe Disney's going to build a third water park and close the first 2 down. Maybe at some point they will add a third water park as an addition, but we're not going to go there because I don't think that's happening anytime in the near future.
Yeah.
You mentioned the golf courses. You got 2 18-hole golf courses right there with Blizzard Beach.
Yeah.
So when did I play those with my family? We spent the morning over in Blizzard Beach, and then let's go play a round of golf since we're here anyways. You're wet, so you're cooled off a little bit. Let's go play golf.
Or you do the opposite. You get hot on the golf course and go cool off after.
Go cool off afterwards, yeah.
But what I was going to say, too, is just in addition to what I was saying, and that's a good point, Kurt, they could add new things to the existing water parks. Blizzard Beach is closed right now, so why not add something else to it? I'm not saying they are, but it gives them time where they don't have to worry about, okay, if we only have 4 water attractions open and not 6, how are we going to disperse the crowds? Because right now it's closed, so they've got their time or the time to do what they please.
Crush and Gusher.
Yeah.
At Typhoon Lagoon, where they used to have the shark tank that you could swim with the sharks, instead they put in Crush and Gusher.
Yeah.
It's three three more attractions in place of one that more people were interested in doing.
Oh,
There
yeah.
were water slide, water coaster attractions.
You know, and as times change, people's expectations of what they want to do in the parks change, and they have to change with the times. And I think Disney's been very good at that overall. They're not perfect. Nobody's perfect at that. But I think Disney's better than anybody else at that, at doing things like that. I know when my family was, when our kids were little, we'd go one year, we'd go to Typhoon Lagoon. The next year, we'd go to Blizzard Beach. We'd switch off. We wouldn't spend a lot of time, maybe a half a day, but that was fun. It was a change of pace from the parks.
Oh, you're right. You're exactly right. And especially the nice part was after going up and down the stairs constantly, hey, let's just hit the lazy river and just float.
Love the lazy river.
Love the lazy river.
I can stay in the lazy river forever.
we did a few laps on the lazy river, and then the rain showers came, so we left.
Yeah.
Which of the two is your favorite lazy river?
Oh boy,
It's a coin flip.
If I had to pick one, I think I would say Blizzard Beach, but Typhoon Lagoons is pretty darn good.
I mean, I like the shade with Typhoon Lagoon, with the foliage.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess a better question would be, of the two water parks, which do you prefer to go to? Because everyone's going to have their favorite.
I like the theming better at Blizzard Beach, but I like relaxing more at Typhoon Lagoon. How's that for an answer?
I'll take it. Honestly, I would rather go to Typhoon Lagoon than Blizzard Beach. I love that wave pool. Yeah. I love to just body surf on that wave pool. I could do that for a while. So until I start getting seasick from bopping up and down somewhere. But that wave pool is fun. I'm not going to go up to the top of the ski slope, and I can't even think of the name of it at Blizzard Beach.
Oh, I can't do that.
I'm not doing it. I'm not a huge fan of heights, and it's a hella long wait.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
I just don't want to do.
I couldn't do it when I was younger out of fear, and I can't do it now out of fear. But I'm not afraid of heights, so go figure. It's not going up, it's going down.
I'll do the Humunga Cowabunga, but it's only about half that length. That's all I need.
Yeah.
I've done them both. Summit Plummet is what you're talking about.
Summit Plummet, thank you.
Yeah, I've done Summit Plummet one time. It was when I was younger. It was over quickly, thankfully, but it was really fast. Yeah. The thing that I don't like about the Cowabunga, whatever the name is there.
Humunga
Cowabunga at Typhoon Lagoon, being a large person going fast, when you get partway down and you hit a bump, I leave.
I caught air.
I catch air, and you just don't feel safe when you're going that fast, and you don't feel the slide around you. You're just feeling air. Right. So, but I haven't been to either park in years. I've been to both many times.
Yeah, we haven't either.
I think
we haven't been since pre-COVID.
I think the last time we were in the water parks, my kids were considered, maybe my son was a teen, my daughter was a tween. They loved it, but we haven't been back since because, it's there have been other things to do at Disney World since then, or other places.
And it costs extra money.
Yes.
It's a good $50 a ticket.
Yeah. You've already paid, to go to the theme parks. It's extra, and it takes time away. You can do one of the water parks and do a theme park in the same day.
Well, you were able to do. There was one time that was a Magic Your Way, including water parks.
Yeah,
I know we had choices of doing miniature golf or the water parks, and we always chose not miniature golf. We always chose the water parks.
Yeah, your package could have included it, or if you had certain annual passes, would have included it.
Right. Yeah, they started penny pitching that though.
You know, a lot of the resorts have these amazing pools for resort guests at that resort, but outsiders cannot come in.
Yeah.
And you know,
Right.
for the most part, right? The beach club, beach with Stormalong Bay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That is by far my favorite slide of all the water parks.
Yeah, it's pretty darn good. The French Quarter has a nice pool too. So
Yes.
it's not to the extent of Stormalong Bay, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Great theme. Old Man Island.
Yeah. They've got good
No,
theming,
wrong one, sorry.
but limited space. You know, they don't have
Yeah.
a wave pool like Typhoon
Right.
Lagoon does. Yeah, the even Stormalong Bay, it at least has something of a lazy river, but it's not nearly as long as Typhoon Lagoon or Blizzard Beach.
You know, the resort pools are good for guests who either don't want to take the extra time to go to one of the water parks even for a half a day, or you know, they're not spending that much time there because they're going back to the park, so it's just a nice way to relax for an hour or two in the afternoon.
Right.
But you know, there are a lot of people that will take advantage of the water parks. They might even spend a full day or a couple of days there.
Yeah.
Right. So Riverside has Old Man Island, which I really liked, with all the water going. It looked like you were mining. You're right. French Quarter is with King Triton and the Sea Serpent. Just okay. Bay Lake Tower is the one DVC resort that I least like going to the pool for, because all that concrete is just bright. In the afternoon sun, which way that is all built all around with the horseshoe shape, that afternoon sun is baking on that. You're frying your feet just walking around. So it's not comfortable to even be in the pool in that situation.
Wow.
So unless they've done some extra shading of that, the concrete, it's just not comfortable.
There's a process that they use in Florida here, because I know our development has it here. The sidewalks, you can put your hand on 100-degree heat. You can put your hands on the ground, and it won't feel hot. So there's something in there that's keeping it cool. And Disney, I'm sure, has done that.
That's new technology, but it wasn't there the last time we went to the pool at Bay Lake Tower. Now it's been, since we went to the pool, probably 6 to 8 years.
Some of the pools, I think, have been refurbished since then, but I don't know if they've taken care of, the concrete.
They did say the pool was under refurbishment up until April this year. So I don't know what they did there.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. The value resorts, that's a perfect example of a pool to just go to for a little bit to take a break from the parks. That's not a pool that is going to replace any of the water parks.
They're very mildly themed.
Yes, very mildly themed.
Right.
It's
All-Star Sports, the water cannon that I think it's Donald is shooting at you. It's either Donald or Goofy. That was kind of neat. My kids thought that was fun, but they were also very little. Otherwise, you're right. It's no comparison.
But they complement each other so well. So
me too.
Just like the water parks can draw people away from the other 4 theme parks, the fact that people have the resorts themselves, or the pools at the resorts, or Disney Springs, or the miniature golf. There's so many different places, just going and resort hopping. There's so many things that can help to distribute all of the people on property. So the pools at the resorts play a part for the people that are the guests staying at the resorts, and then the water parks themselves for resort guests as well as non-resort guests, even locals, like you say.
Yep.
And it's extra revenue for Disney.
It is. Yep. Right now, everybody says, "Oh, Disney's making so much money." Yeah, they are. But you know what? You want them to have that extra revenue from the water parks so they don't raise the theme park prices anymore.
Correct.
I think the water parks are an integral part of Disney. I do think they can exist without them, but what's the consequences? Yeah, what's the consequences if they do? We know what the consequences are. Even more crowded parks.
It was Typhoon Lagoon was created as a half-day water park because you spent a half day at Disney Hollywood Studios and a half day at the water park. That's what they wanted, because Disney Hollywood Studios was considered a half-day park when it first opened. Of course, it was also only $25 to get in at that point, but
yeah, well, everything is relative to the time
right.
those prices were being offered. Blizzard Beach too. Yeah, you can spend more than a half a day at Blizzard Beach, but I think it's good that you can spend a half a day at the water parks. It takes away people from the parks for a little while. It gives you more of an opportunity to do things in the parks for those who are going to the parks. Like you said, it's a people eater, Kurt, or can be.
Right.
Are there any things you would change the way Disney's doing things with the water parks? I think we will see both water parks open at the same time, if not next year, the year after.
You know what? Other than just maybe adding a new water attraction here or there, I know they don't have a lot of room to do that, but just keep everything clean and up to date as far as maintenance is concerned. Is the big thing. You've got to keep the maintenance up in a water park, or someone will get hurt.
Oops. I had my mic off. Completely agree with you there, Kurt. I'm not sure what food they have there. I remember eating food there before one of their counter services in each. It was okay. It was good. It's typical Disney counter service food there. I don't know if they have any sit-down offerings in either one. That might be a nice thing to try.
They need
go ahead.
They need a cookies and cookies too over at the.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, that's on Disney's Island, Castaway Cay. That's their grill barbecue. It's not a restaurant. It's because DCL guests or cruisers eat for free there. But yeah, oh my God, can you imagine if they did that there?
Well, and it would fit so well.
It would.
Right.
Absolutely. It'd be perfect.
They're not going to do a table service because we're all walking around in our swimsuits, Stuart. So that's just not going to happen.
Right.
But yeah, the quick service, hey, it's decent food. They have some exclusive Dole Whips that you can only get at Typhoon Lagoon and you can't get anywhere else. So they do their exclusive things to try to get you to go there. And there'll be people that are crazy enough to go, come on, we got to go to the water park. I want to try that.
And I love John's idea. Can you imagine if they did it, let's say at a fixed price, where you could go up a couple of times, maybe?
Don't you think you would actually go there as a Florida local?
Oh my God, hell yeah! That would be worth the ticket just to get into the water park, even if I did nothing else but eat at Cook's.
Yeah, it's a good buffet.
Sign me up right now.
I gotta agree. It's a really good buffet, and I haven't eaten there. I haven't eaten at Cook's since 2011.
Oh God, if a Disney cruise ship that I was on got stranded on Castaway Cay, and they kept Cook's open 24 hours a day, I wouldn't leave my seat.
I haven't eaten food. I haven't eaten at Cookies too in 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, you're very lucky. It's been over a year for me.
Mute that guy.
I did have some ribs for you, Stuart.
Thank you. I guess. Yeah, that would be an amazing addition to the parks. I think they're serving alcohol in the water parks now too.
Oh,
they are.
Yeah, that's all.
It just sounds dangerous.
It does sound dangerous.
You wouldn't. So, are they serving them in aluminum? Because I don't think they would allow glass.
I'm sure they're not allowing glass.
Plastic, yeah. plastic or
plastic.
aluminum. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because you can't bring glass into the
No,
park.
no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's in our development here. We've got a clubhouse and pool, and people are not allowed to bring glass to the pool for obvious reasons. Yet some people choose to ignore those rules. But with Disney, you've got to get through their tight security. And I can almost guarantee you that they are going through people's bags to make sure they're not bringing in any glass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
It's good that they're careful about that.
Yeah.
So we were staying at Kidani Village, and I honestly hadn't even thought about it. A friend of mine and us, we walked over and we had our bottle with us. It was just a bottle of beer. We walked down there, and it was sitting next to our thing. And the guy came over right away and he goes, "For safety purposes, here's a couple cups. Do you guys mind pouring those into the cups? I need to take your bottles. We're
Yeah.
not taking your drinks away. You're fine to have your drinks, but I need your bottle."
Yeah.
And we looked at each other and went, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. But that was a great way for them to handle it.
That is, yeah.
Right.
You're not getting the guests mad at you.
Right.
You're allowing them to continue what they were doing.
Well, and they
but-
realized you didn't specifically do it, to flout their rules.
Right. We were like blowing in their face. We're like, we got our own drinks. No, and they even said to us, "Look, if you come down next time, bring your bottle. We'll even open it for you. Let us pour it into a glass so that you don't
Mhm.
have the glass over there." I'm like, okay.
But that's a nice way to do it.
Concrete, bare feet, and water. Nope.
No, not a good mixture.
And glass. Yeah, no.
Well, no, I mean throwing glass into the mixture of concrete.
Well, yeah. Yeah, you can't see it down in the. Yeah, if someone tips it over and it falls in, blink, gone. Pool's
Oh my God.
closed.
Yeah, they'd have to close the entire pool because you could not
yeah.
find it.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be a nightmare waiting to happen. So I think we're all in agreement that the water parks stay.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. I think we've kind of exhausted this topic.
There's one other thing I would add that,
Sure.
to follow on to something that Kurt had mentioned,
Mhm.
and for the big attractions, mostly the big water slides, the Humunga Cowabunga and Summit Plummet, there's a long wait for those attractions, for those slides. And if they instituted some other kind of queuing mechanism, which they
Please don't say Genie Plus.
no. Now where you have a time to come back.
Mhm.
So you can go off and enjoy other things and then come back and get in the queue at a certain time, which I believe is what they do at Volcano Bay. But, use some of that updated queuing methodology
Mhm.
so that you're not standing on a set of steps for 45 minutes or whatever. Give you a chance to enjoy other things in the park, but still get to do those popular but slower moving attractions at a water park.
Or do you think they want? I'm just going to throw this out there. Do you think they want people waiting in line so it keeps the other attractions moving? I'm not saying I agree with it.
Well, Humunga Cowabunga, because there's multiple slides to go down,
Mhm.
doesn't nearly have the weight of Summit Plummet.
Of Summit Plummet, right?
It not even a quarter of the weight, or else we
Mhm.
never would have written it. We'd go back and forth.
Yeah.
A 5-minute wait was a long wait on Summit
Yeah.
Plummet the last time we were there.
Yeah.
Or not Summit Plummet. I'm sorry, Humunga Cowabunga.
Yeah.
Summit Plummet, 2 hours at least.
Yeah.
I think John's right. They need to come up with some other waiting mechanism.
So for that, definitely you got to have a way. Basically, time yourself, and by the time you climb to the top, you should be able to go.
Well, and even though you're waiting, it's not like there are a huge number of people in that line compared to all the number of guests within the park itself. So I think cutting down on the number of people waiting in line isn't going to have a big impact on the rest of the park.
Now I'm going to call it Fast Pass. It doesn't have to be Fast Pass, but what they could do is have those ticket, those
wristband.
You get it right. You get a ticket. It gives you a return time, a window of when you can come back. You leave. You come back with that ticket. hand it in, and boom, you go on the ride.
Or they could do it with magic bands. I don't know if they could do
You
it
could
with
do it, right.
Plus,
Right.
Magic Band.
Well,
Plus.
you don't want to bring your phone into a.
No.
Not necessarily, but they've got when you do PhotoPass, they'll take a picture as you're coming out. They give you that band that's already there. You've already got a band that's for scanning anyways.
Yeah.
There you go.
Attach it.
That's good.
Scan it into that. Now it's around your wrist. You've always got it. What time do I need to come back? There's clocks all over the place, so you know. Let's go.
I like that idea.
Disney can send their royalties to John and I. And
I didn't come up with it. I didn't come up with it. I just stole it.
All right. Anyway, I think that is going to do it for us this week. We will be hopefully back on our regular night next week. We've been all over the place lately, but we're trying to do 2 shows in one night going forward, and we're going to continue to try to do that and bring you the news in one and the entertainment and education in the other, or the comedy of errors in the other. Either way, but that's it for this week. So everybody, once again, if you're celebrating, happy Cinco de Mayo. For everyone else, be safe. Well, for everybody, be safe, be yourself. Bye-bye.
May the 5th be with you. Good night, everybody.
Well, I don't have a good Disney song to go with this topic, but I'm going to use some music that you hear at the Disney parks, especially the Disney water parks, especially at Typhoon Lagoon. And you can also hear it at Castaway Cay and at Cookies too. A little bit of Jimmy Buffett. Mother, Mother Ocean, I have heard you call. Well, thank you for calling in or dialing in, listening to us. Be safe, and we hope to see you next week. Good night.